What an amazing, amazing melody. Sada Zeybek from a documentary film featuring the last 300 days of Mustafa Kemal Atatürk's life. Hello, everyone. My name is Muge Karslioglu. I'm your host today. Welcome to our virtual Turkish festival events. Of course, if we weren't going through this crazy pandemic today or this year, we would be celebrating our 18th annual Turkish festival in the beautiful, lovely streets of Pennsylvania Avenue in DC. Unfortunately, we're not able to do that. And actually, our board members and our volunteers right now would have been doing the worst job ever, which would have been cleanup. But our volunteer-led organization instead is pivoting the festival and the Heritage Month event this series to an online platform to keep our community safe. So let me just give you a little quick bit of information about the American Turkish Association. It was founded in 1965. We're a nonprofit organization where our mission is to promote cross-cultural understanding between the Turkish and the non-Turkish communities in the Washington, D.C. area. We've been organizing our community-supported Turkish festival in the nation's capital for 17 years, where we share our lovely cultural heritage with our non-Turkish friends. We, of course, boast to say that we have received 8 awards. 6 of those we were selected as #1 in the Best Arts and Cultural Festival in DC, including 2019. And twice we were selected as the 2nd best festival in DC. We connect our communities, of course, through fun webinars now, where we invite all of our Washingtonians and other viewers, guests to join our annual festivities virtually. Hopefully next year, everything will be much better and we'll be able to do another live festival in DC. Of course, I was also a board member for the association. I was responsible for membership for years. I encourage all of you to become a member. Please visit our website at www.atadc.org. Very simple. We appreciate it. Thank you. Now, tonight, we have a very, very special guest with us, one of us, a dear friend, and someone who has for years supported the Turkish festival. He is a prolific and award-winning Turkish-American pianist and composer who is internationally known for many film scores, ballets, operas, and symphonic music. We welcome Fahir Atakoglu.
Merhaba. Hi.
Hoş geldin, Fahir. Welcome. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you. Thank you.
We are so happy and honored that you can join us today. And
So
even though, thank you. Even though we cannot see everybody on the screen, I have no doubt that all of our members and guests are thrilled, as I am, that you could be with us today. Thank you. So how are you spending your days these days, especially with the pandemic?
Well, for the first month was nothing. I mean, I didn't have anything to do. And then I started writing some stuff. You know, at first you don't feel like working at all. And then a couple of months, you know, like 1.5 months later, started working. Now everything is quite sort of not normal, but normal. You know, I'm working on a movie score right now, a new movie. So I'm feeling good. I'm not too bad.
That's wonderful. You know, of course, our viewers have been sending questions earlier on, and they all want to know, you know, how did you first become interested in music? When did you discover that you had this amazing talent?
You don't really discover it. I mean, I was so young. It's just that, you know, I've felt it inside me, you know, like it should sound a little, you know, like common, but I really felt it inside me. I remember when I was really young, you know, was trying to play the piano, you know, without knowing anything, and music was all around me. Because
how old?
7, 6, 7, you know, that young. I mean, my mother tells me, and I have some video footage as well, like, you know, not video, of course, that time, you know, films, but yeah, and music was all around me because my family, you know, my mother especially used to listen to nice music, classical music, melodic music. It was all around me. My brother used to live in England then, and like the used to bring stuff, albums and things like that as I was growing up. Yeah, it was just musical. It was all around me. My cousins were musicians. We used to live in a four-story building in Turkey, in Istanbul, in Moda, and every you
That's amazing.
family member was doing something about music. Yeah,
Did you have any musical formal education that involved music or
yeah.
conservatory?
Not conservatory, but I started learning it through like a private piano teacher, and then then I started going to Işık Lisesi, high school,
Yes.
and there in Işık Lisesi, my piano teacher, the music teacher, has actually paid a lot of attention to me, and then he started giving me lessons. That was very nice for about 3 years. And then when I was like starting the ninth grade, kind of thing, he introduced me to Cemal Reşit. Cemal Reşit is one of the five biggest composers in Turkey, as you know. And he started giving me lessons, and that was like priceless because I learned so much. I was composing at the time, so he was listening to my compositions, and working on piano as well. So.
What was your first gig? How did you break in?
Oh, it
What
was
was your
school
first
time.
job?
School
It was
time.
for
Now, first
school?
job,
First
I
job
don't
in
know.
music. Like what
Okay,
was your
first.
first
Oh wow, job in music in London. I mean, in London, I was there as a student. Like right after I went there, the 1980 military takeover had happened actually. So I was there in the 80s until 85 in London, and we started playing in pubs, wine bars, pubs. That's I first got paid, and then started working on in studios as a studio musician. That's that was
Mhm.
another thing. Actually, my first payment was in England. Now I come to think of it, and then I
Oh,
came, of course, met Sezen Aksu and everybody. So.
yeah. So that was the first time when you,
Yeah, that's
what
right.
was your first music that you composed and sold?
Sold.
Or, the very first one that was composed that
Right.
kind of put you out there in the world in Turkey.
Oh, it was of course the documentary, the 12 Mart documentary.
Mhm.
Everybody
Exactly, exactly. Beautiful.
everybody knows it.
So
Yeah,
how do you get your
and Sarıcabuk,
inspiration?
of course.
Thank you. How do you
And,
get your inspiration to compose such different types of themes, such as your documentaries, jingles, commercials? Do you get some sort of a script ahead of time that you write according to it? How does
I
that
mean,
work?
of course, I mean, technically, it's always like there is a subject that you are going to write the music about. If there's a movie, like if there's a documentary, if there's this and that, that sort of gives you a perspective to start with. you know Apart from that, I mean, when I'm writing my albums, like the music from out of nowhere kind of thing, there's no script or anything to follow. um I guess it's I mean, I see it as myself as a sort of a channel, like it's the melodies are out there, but it finds me easier and
Wow.
gets out there. I don't know. I mean, it affects your geography helps, I guess. Affects a little bit where you were born, how you grow up, um, and how you live your feelings, I guess, through life, and that gives you a perspective of how to reflect those feelings to an audience that would find it interesting to keep on watching the movie or or
Wow.
watching you playing, that kind of thing. I
That's
don't know. I
amazing.
When somebody asks, that's what when I think of these things actually.
That's amazing. So, speaking of films, of course, everybody is always anxious to hear your lovely composition
uh,
that you created for the movie Ayla. Could you
Yeah,
play a little bit of that for us
yeah,
right
yeah, yeah,
now?
yeah, yeah. Sure, sure. Let me take this out.
So amazing. So much feeling. I have goosebumps. I'm sure all of the audience that's watching us does too. I mean, I cannot fathom the amount of talent that you have that oozes out of those
Oh, thanks.
fingertips and amazing. Do you just sit down and say, okay, I'm gonna write this and do you like do a plan? You know, it should start this way and have riffs, or do you just sit and start, all the
It's
inspiration just flows?
yeah. Well, with movies, you make a plan kind of thing because you're against time and you have to finish at a certain point. Yeah, I mean, it starts always with the feeling, the general feeling that you have about something. That if you're going to write something for something, you know. But Isla started out with like this melody.
Nice.
It's very childish, because it's about a kid,
It's
and
about
then
the
and
child.
then it goes same movement.
Yeah,
It's a little bit of you know balance as well, I guess,
it's
on the
amazing.
weight of the music and everything. I mean, the thinking about it comes later on when you're doing the arrangement and finding the timbers to give it to play it with.
How long does it take you to create and compose music like that for a
For a
particular
movie, I mean,
documentary
for
or a movie?
for I mean, for a movie, it takes about 1.5 months, 2 months. I mean, for a project like that. And then of course, you know, you then record, of course, that's another thing, and then you come back again and edit to the movie. So it takes a couple months in general, you know, to finish the whole job. But
But
I
your
mean, to
part
write
of
a,
it, for you to compose, it's only about a month and a half.
yeah, yeah, and then you compose new things as you watch the movie, as you're working synchronized to the movie as well. The new things come up as well. So I mean, every kind of project is a different way of working. But you know, as far as a melody, one melody comes, yeah, it can come in a second, or it comes in bits, you know. Or sometimes I write a melody and then put it somewhere because it's unfinished. Then I come back to it, and that kind of thing. It's always like, you know, that you have something to go back to as well, you know. That,
It's like a writer who writes a book at the
yes,
same time.
yes,
If they have
exactly,
that inspiration,
exactly.
the muse comes and then everything starts to
Yeah.
flow, or there might be a time where you have like a dry spell maybe where certain things doesn't come to you. Does that happen?
Oh yeah, yeah, it does. It does. You get frustrated, and especially when you're writing some music, a certain music for a certain scene, for example, in movies. I don't get frustrated with when I'm writing on the album for my albums or anything, or something that is for nothing, you know.
Yeah.
If it doesn't come at that time, and I'll just leave it and then come back to it again. But when you're doing something that has to be
Deadline
finished by a
driven.
certain time,
Yeah.
then that gets all, you know, gets you all, yeah, tied up,
Puts you under
and
stress and pressure.
very much so, yeah.
Yeah, I can
Stress,
imagine,
that's
like
the
with
word.
everything. So our viewers, if you have any questions to send our way, please do so. Just use you should have a Q&A button on your screen. Feel free to use it and send us any questions that you might have for Fahir Atakoglu. So let's talk about your new album, For Love.
Yeah,
Love it. You've got a lot of different blends of musical elements. Tell us a little bit about it. How did it
yeah.
all come together? What are your favorite parts?
Um, well, I had this, let me say this, the concept that for a long time in my mind, you know, that what I wanted to do is to get these some singers from all around the world, especially with different languages from different parts of the world. I wanted them to sing my melodies, but to sing those melodies, if possible, in their own language, and if possible, if they could write the lyrics as well. So it was too much to ask at the time, but it all started with Gonca Buika. Buika, for some of viewers maybe don't know, but she's a very amazing flamenco singer. I met her through a friend of mine, through a drummer called Horacio El Negro Hernandez, whom I play with for the last 15 years all the time, that who also plays in this album. So Boyka said, you know, I love the melody of Lal, you know, as this one.
Yes, love it.
So she wrote lyrics to it, and then she sang it, and then it started like that. The album started with Boyka, you know, and then came Luciana Souza. Luciana Souza actually wrote some Portuguese lyrics. Buica wrote Spanish lyrics.
That is
Luciana Souza wrote some Portuguese lyrics to a melody that if you remember, that Dargın Değilim, it was a
yes.
melody that I wrote for the documentary, Adnan Menderes
Edwin
documentary.
Menderes, yes.
Yeah. Remember?
Yes. So nice. Oh my God.
So this one became like a little bit of a Brazilian, you know, rhythm,
Flair.
and it becomes, yeah. Romero Lubambo played the guitar, and Luciana Souza sang, and the song it's in English called Gypsy Heart.
Okay.
So another singer, Amy Ellen, came and sang another composition of mine, first called Istanbul'un Blue, and then she wrote lyrics to it, and it's now called Land and Sea on the album. Another melody of mine, Love's Crescendo, she wrote the lyrics. Amy Allen sang the second, another song. And finally, Letizia Gambi, an Italian singer, I gave her a couple of my melodies, and she wrote lyrics to one of my melodies, and she sang it, and it became Come Musica, titled. And finally, when all those songs came together, it was all about love, you know. I didn't tell
So
them what to
nice.
write about. I never told them what to write about. I just said, this is the melody, or whatever, whichever melody you like, you know, just write lyrics, whatever you like. It's make you their own. And they
Universal
made them,
language.
that's right. They made my songs their own, you know, by singing, and by actually putting their artistry
Wow.
and their style to it.
Yeah.
So it's really amazing.
That
I'm
must
not
have
going
been
to
a
stop.
really amazing, humbling experience for you too,
Oh,
to watch.
beautiful. Yeah, that of course it was beautiful. And yeah, so the album, the songs in the album, they came like that.
How do we get our hands on your album? How do we buy it?
Oh, it's physically uh, Amazon.com.
Great.
Amazon.com is the only place that you
Yes.
buy it physical, and you
Can we
download,
get it from
stream. You know,
Spotify and stuff like that as well?
yes, you can download, you know, and
iTunes,
stream.
Spotify.
Yeah,
Perfect. That's wonderful. Before I'm going to ask you to play definitely one or two of
I'll
your
play Lal
pieces from the
for Amor.
Yes, I'm going to read some questions. So
Okay.
Ilhan Özulu says, "Hello, Fahir. What is your new project?"
Hi, Haydan. I know Haydan.
Yes, I know.
I actually, I have, I'm writing right now. I'm writing a movie called a Turkish movie called Her Şeye Rağmen. It's a real life story about a person who became very rich and successful in life from zero to start. You know, that kind of a success story. And after I finish that, I'm going to write another movie, which I can't tell you the name right now because they're keeping it secret. But it's another real life story. Uh, you know, it's exciting. So I have two new projects.
Wonderful. Alan wants to know, do you have any concerts scheduled or perhaps in the near future? Or any
Yes,
virtual concerts?
well, not virtual as much, but you know, because of the COVID, what's going to happen that we just heard that because of the vaccine is going to come up, you know, in the United States by winter, and we're hoping that the live concerts will start in May, June,
Oh, hopefully.
2021. Yeah, I mean, not before that. I don't think so because everybody is not, you know, nobody's going to want to go anywhere. I know for a fact that my concerts in November has been canceled because of the places are not open. I mean, Lincoln Jazz Center, I was going to play in Dizzy's Club. I was going to play in Blues Alley in Washington. They're all closed.
Yeah, and until further notice. But it's okay.
Unfortunately.
Hopefully everything will get back to normal soon for all of us, so we can get out and listen to you live. So our one of our board members, actually, Demet, had sent a message, and I think I lost it. Let me see if I could find it. I've lost Demet, I've lost your message. If you want to resend it, I don't know if it got erased or what. So let me just read one more question. So
Sure.
Irmak wants to know, what are the pros and cons of living in the US for a musician who grew up in Turkey and gets his inspiration from Turkey?
Yeah, of course. Well, I mean, the reason I decided to come here was, you know, to have to be able to play with musicians from all around the world. Because when I came here like 30 years ago, and it still is, the United States is the place for all the musicians from all around the world that they come here. and I wanted to meet with them. I wanted to play with them, and also jazz was another, of course, um, reason.
Mhm.
I mean, the music was the reason that I came to United States, music and musicians. So that's a pro, you know. Yes, you are away from my motherland, you know, because I was Anavatan, you know. Yeah, I was born there, and you are away from your parents and your most of your friends. I mean, I still have many friends in Turkey, but and another reason, of course, I have a son who's 25. We will be 25 on October 3rd. You know, I wanted to get him a different perspective in life, you know, a little bit of different education, and I was lucky that I ended up in Maryland, Montgomery County as well,
Mhm.
because United States is a big country. I mean, when you think of United States, you should think in state-wise, you know, where you want to come for what, you know, that kind of thing.
We're very happy that you chose Washington, D.C. metropolitan area and you're in our
Of
community.
course, we started as we do you remember our travel agency? Yeah.
Of course.
Yes,
For the viewers,
I
yes,
remember.
Fahir, myself, and another good friend go back
Yeah, I was.
years. And we
Yes,
were
I live.
together. We had a business together. It was
Yeah.
wonderful. Great
At
days.
the time, I was writing many
Adams
jingles,
Morgan,
if you remember.
you were writing jingles at the
And
point,
always,
at
you're
that
like I
time,
was
just
at the
starting out.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, for my cooking show, for the intro that I had done, you also
Ah,
gave me from your Istanbul Blue, the
yeah,
Black
this one.
Sea. Exactly. Beautiful. But
Anyway,
I
I'm gonna
love
play
it,
some of
love it, love it. So one question before I'm going to ask you to play something from your new album. So I did find Demet Jabbar's message. So she says, thank you for this fascinating interview. I'm a big fan of Fahir Atakoglu. I wanted to know which composition of yours is your favorite and who is your favorite musician?
Oh wow, I don't have any one favorite or one
They're all
favorite
like your
musician.
little children, of course, your music,
Well, they always I say that. Yes, of course, that's a cliche, right?
right?
But you know, I mean, there are a couple that I always enjoy playing. Let's see, put it that way. I mean,
Yeah,
it's sort of, it's never, I never get tired with it. You know, it's one of them is Sözebek, and the other one that I'd like to play is Lale, of course. Right now, I will
yes,
play.
we can't wait to hear it.
You know, those two are like
Mhm.
very much like that. I play in every concert, so and
Yeah.
I don't get tired of them.
Do
So
you have a favorite musician?
Um, favorite, it's so much, so many. I
Yeah,
mean, you know, in different fields of music, because I listen to every kind of music. I mean, I don't listen to one
sure.
kind of music. So I have favorites in different fields, you know,
Yeah.
in jazz. I have many, Herbie Hancock, Chick Corea. I mean, those are the things that came to mind, but lots of new artists as well.
Great.
You know,
So let's anxiously, we're all waiting to hear Lal from your new
sure.
album. Don't forget
Okay.
to take off your ear things.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay.
Incredible. Incredible. Of course, Sarta Perenar went to record that and made it a #1 song. Amazing.
Yes,
I'm going to ask you to play
Sezen
one
Aksu's
more.
words. Yeah.
Yeah, one more from that album, if you would do that. But I'm going to have a question from Aisha. She says that she watched your concert on August 30th. Very impressed about the entire setup for Zafer Bayramı, the concept, the
Oh yeah.
musicality, and the historical journey she says you took us through on that particular concert and project. Can you talk a little bit about that experience and that project?
Which one is
August
that?
30th, Zafer Bayramı.
August 30th, this year or the year before? Because I did 15th of July this year.
It must have been previous years then, last year.
Oh, okay.
Or the year before, or
yeah,
several years ago, not last year, several years ago.
I mean, every concert in those kind of days is very, it's really exciting because people gather for a certain reason, for a good reason, to celebrate something that is historical, and then you become part of it. And I was lucky because I wrote music for Atatürk, many music for Atatürk, and in fact that's what one of those I'd like to play, Sarızebek, today. And for the recent history of Turkey, of course, and when I wrote music for documentaries about Atatürk, I had the chance to write a lot of music about 30th of August and historical times, the Turkish history, you know. So I was lucky to be able to write those musics, you know, and I'm also lucky that people loved it and actually made you know, they've how should I say it? They really
Embraced it. And
yes, embraced it. That's the
went
word. I'm
through the
sorry.
journey with you. Absolutely.
That's right. I mean, Sarızebek is right now in Anıtkabir. You know, when you enter the Anıtkabir, you hear Sarızebek. It's beautiful. So
yes.
It's very humbling. It's beautiful. That's what I feel.
Why don't you play us one of your favorites?
Okay, Sarızebek then.
Yes, your earplug.
Oh, not I played Sarızebek, right?
You did the first one, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, sure. I played the Sarızebek. So I play how about Dargın Değilim? You know, the melody.
Yes.
And in the album, this melody, they'll hear it in a different arrangement and with different timbres, of course. But I'd like to just play it with the piano.
Please, I'd love to hear it.
All right.
Goosebumps again. I love it. Love it. Lovely. Let me let me read you.
That's
Beautiful. So Zahid Shahin, who is the vice president of the American Turkish Association North Carolina, says, Fahir Bey visited us in Raleigh around 2003 and 2004. This was one of our most memorable events in this area. I just wanted to say hi to him, and we hope to see him in our area again when the pandemic is over.
yes, that'll be great. Yes, I remember. It was a great time.
And then I have a message from Dr. Samara, also from North Carolina. Love the North Carolina viewers. My question, he says, is when you composed Yalnızlık Senfonisi, what were your thoughts and feelings at the time?
That's one of the dilemmas. I have not composed the Yalnızlık Senfonisi. It's always, I've said it all over the place and everywhere.
That's interesting, YouTube, right?
Yeah, I never wrote anything called even Yalnızlık Senfonisi. There is one composition that actually Sezen Aksu wrote, Yalnızlık Senfonisi. Sertab sang it in Turkish, but the one that everybody's claiming that I wrote is not mine. It's somebody else's, in fact, Japanese or somebody. And in YouTube, always my name comes up with it, and somehow, I don't know, it's not mine. So, sorry.
Sorry, everybody. Let me see if I could read
but
another.
Everybody knows like that, it's somehow.
Of course.
I mean, I don't blame her.
Of course. So let me see if I'm getting one more message, and then I'd love for you to play another music for us. I just want to see if I can cover everybody.
I ran out of music. No,
exactly. No, I'm kidding. So what was your favorite jingle?
Oh, wow.
You remember?
I mean, the very first one I wrote was for Bonibon Şeker. You know, Bonibon, mini chocolate, Bonibon.
That's right.
Well, and it was very first. And then, you know, there were, how do you say it in English? Örgü günleri, kar topu örgü günleri. You know, people.
When they knitted the snowball.
Yeah, knitting thing, kar topu. There's another thing that I wrote. Those are the first ones, and I mean, I was writing a jingle a day. They used to call me. I remember one of those magazines. They called me Amadeus Jingle Master. Amadeus Jingle Master. So that's what I used to write. I mean, I wrote it for everything, from cards to candies to
exactly
anything.
I remember. Somebody wants to know, when are you most productive? When is the hour of the day when inspiration comes and you write your music? Is there a specific time of the day when, you know, you sit down in front of the piano and everything just comes to you at that time?
No, there isn't any specific time. No, not at the moment. I mean, not at all, actually. I never discovered that. It depends on your mood. Whatever your mood is, whenever you're whenever the time, uh, actually. But sometimes it comes to your head, and then if you're not near the piano, you take a note. Or now we have these phones, of course, you sing to it if you're not writing it. But not at a particular time, no.
Could you play us one more from your new album?
Uh, from the new album, I mean, there are lots of
It's up to
things,
you.
but
Why don't you give us anything that you love, your favorite?
yeah, sure. I mean, uh, I okay. I'll just play something that
Just play exactly
yeah,
that
I
comes to your
wrote
mind.
something that today.
If we could have your AirPods.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry. You, you have you're having so much fun. It's so enjoyable to watch you. You're really just so into it and just really enjoying it. It's amazing.
I actually, I play my piano upstairs, of course, and
How
this
many times
chair
a day do you
is a little
play?
bit, huh?
How many
Excuse me. I'm
hours?
sorry.
How many hours a day do you play the piano?
Oh, um, well, it's I'm sometimes I don't even play. I mean, it's to come to think of it. But when I'm working, I work like 12, 14 hours a day, and when I'm going to give a concert, I start practicing and just, play a lot, like 5, 6 hours a day, you know. But because I'm not classical pianist, that I don't give recitals like regularly. I just keep my, fingers, um, you know, strong. Um, but I do not play all the time for a certain amount of time every day now.
I have a really nice comment from Rosalind. This music is so beautiful and brings a much needed healing energy as we move through the pandemic.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for sharing your gifts so generously this evening, she says. Isn't that
Thank
nice?
you.
There's so many compliments that are coming through on how
Oh,
amazing
nice.
you
Thank
are
you.
and your music and what an inspiration. And and how uplifting it is, especially what we're going through right now. So nice
Thank
to
you.
hear all that. Nobody wants it to end, and we're sort of coming to an end. And I would, if it's not too much trouble, right before we finish, if there's another small piece that you could share with us, we would love that.
I just cannot think of anything right now. So,
Oh,
um, let me just think of something. What I was actually, let me write let me play the theme that I'm writing
yes, that'd
uh,
be great. Earpods.
for the movie.
Mhm. Oh,
So,
nice.
okay. So, and
Earpods.
this is the melody. Actually, you're going to hear it for the first time. So I'm still working on it.
We're so lucky. Yay.
Uh, so I was talking about the movie that I'm writing a success story. So there's a section, a big section in the movie that talks about the childhood of that person, and um, okay, so like this.
Absolutely beautiful. And we're lucky to get a glimpse at it before it's coming out.
That's that's right. Nobody heard it. Not even the director.
Suheila says, thank
No,
you.
he heard it, of course.
He says, thank you,
I have to
Fahir
put
Bey.
this. Oh,
Your
great.
camera go
One
off a
second.
little bit or something?
Yeah, I'm running out of battery. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm
Okay,
glad
got
it
it.
didn't happen when you're playing. That's great. It's fine. We're coming to our end of our series. So Suheila says, thank you, Fahir Bey. Many, many thanks. You have lifted up our spirits and warmed our souls, brought Turkey close to us. That's so nice. Of course, Feriha also says, thank you so much for giving us this opportunity this evening. And then Gizem writes, do you teach music?
No, no, I did for a while, and then I found out that I don't have time. I have to give time to the people that I'm teaching, especially children that I started out with, because I cannot give the utmost attention all the time, every time, because of my travels. I couldn't, so I stopped. I don't. But maybe sometime later I will.
No, of course,
Yeah.
especially with some of those deadline driven projects and stuff that you have. I just
Yeah.
think that you need a lot of time for yourself to focus and get the inspiration
Yeah.
to
And
create this amazing music we're listening to. That's so lovely. Nisli writes, beautiful. So what a pleasure, she says it is to listen to you. Uh, I hope everything did come through nice and clear. Murat writes, even though there might have been some Zoom cutoffs on certain
oh,
frequencies, it's amazing. Everything still sounds amazing, he says.
Oh,
So
thank you. That's
lovely.
great. I was.
And Demet had a question about if your Magnificent Century series,
Hmm.
and if and you did many of those scores, some of them that was related to the Magnificent Century, was it not? Muhteşem
Well,
Yüzyıl?
yeah, I did music for Magnificent Century for 4 years. You know, together with two of my friends, Aytekin Ateş and Soner Arıca. I'm sorry, Soner. I forgot his last name. I'm sorry. Um, two of my friends. So we did it together for 4 years, and it was an incredible journey because right now, you know, if you want to talk about the music, first thing you say, especially in Russia or somewhere, oh, I wrote the music for the Magnificent Century, and then everyone knows. Actually, you know, it's so amazing because of the two albums that came out of Magnificent Century all the time right now in Apple iTunes, you know, artists for Apple Music for artists thing that they tell you where you most
Exactly.
listen to. The first top cities in Russia right now, you know, in Moscow and St. Petersburg or something because of this Magnificent Century. And
Wow,
then
isn't that
comes
great?
Turkey. Yeah,
Interesting, right? That's
incredible,
amazing.
incredible. So that is very special thing. Yeah.
Do you, just as a closing, since we have a little bit less than 5 minutes to go, can you have anything ready that you can play from
Uh,
Magnificent Century that you remember?
yeah. I can play. Uh, a melody like that. Actually, I wrote it for many years ago for something else than one of those melodies.
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
Amazing. We thank you so much. I mean, everybody, we just had an amazing Fahir Atakoglu concert via Zoom.
Thank
We're so
you.
honored. We're so happy. Thank you so much for being with us. Thank you so much for your time. We
Thank
really,
you.
really enjoyed it. Thank you. And all
Thanks to everyone.
viewers,
Thanks to Turkish American, everybody.
thank you. And everybody, don't forget to visit our website. Please encourage you to become a member, www.atadc.org. Thank you for joining. Please follow us on Facebook, and you will be also able to see this interview again and follow it on Facebook and YouTube. And Sitka will probably put it up on the screen, and if not, you can just see it on our Facebook page. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for joining. And thank you again, Fahir. Thanks so much for
Thank
this
you. Bye
beautiful
bye.
night. Bye-bye. Good night, everybody.